Hello everybody and welcome back to RCW, or is it RCW? We've got some interesting things that occurred on the last episode. There's been a bit of a break in between as we tried to figure out what the hell this would even look like, because everything just kind of devolved into absolute chaos and not really in the planned chaos. So basically the show, the workers revolted, people got hit in the head with baseball bats, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we kind of have to call it on the fly here, and basically I've decided that we would have to have a kind of a fallout episode where we would have everybody together and we would deal with the aftermath of it, because the show can't just continue the way that it was, where the company couldn't continue going, considering what happened with half the roster revolting against the owner and all that kind of stuff, the crazy stuff that happened to the last one. So we need to do kind of a catch-up, really, since the last episode. Those of you who watched, obviously, it was chaos. Basically, there was a planned thing in the ring that went a bit too far, where Bane took it too far with Sterling in a championship match. The people backstage were not informed that he was going to be that stiff and reacted very shoot style. All ran out into the ring, past the security, beat up the security even to get to the ring, and slid in, and basically it was entirely chaos. Everybody was just shooting, not really acting in their characters. The whole anger was out the window. Meanwhile, backstage, the new owner, Michael Mann, who was the owner of the company that had taken over RCW, who had been just given a good contract to Ross, I should say the Freak, held up a contract to him and said, "I will put this in the trash if you don't get back in the locker room." The Freak snapped, swung a baseball bat, and Nova tried to get involved and unfortunately took the baseball bat, and that was all she wrote for the show as we last saw it. Now, obviously, due to that, there are several lawsuits and things that happened as people were fired and left the company and didn't work for the company anymore. People were charged with breach of contract. There was obviously the litigation. Nova did not press any charges or any issues with Freak at all. It was all to do with Michael Mann and his involvement and basically firing without cause in the case of how Jack and Nova and people saw it. So basically it has been several months since the last episode of RCW. In that time, there is no RCW anymore. The last show went so badly that, for a PR director, that only half of it aired, which was the good half with the wrestling matches, and it all went very well with that, with the new international champion, which was Chris. All that stuff went aired, but the second half of the show didn't air, and kind of from a publicity point of view, CTV felt that RCW was not redeemable. We already had the issues where they got kicked out of the California area due to the fire incident. We went down to Florida, and now and then went to this touring thing, and there's just been a bad publicity involved with the company name because of all that stuff. And then now this workers' revolt. Basically, the entire show turned into chaos was kind of the last straw, and the show has rebranded. It is no longer Revolution Championship Wrestling. It is now the Capital Wrestling Federation. They've continued. So people like Bruiser and Chris and Travis Knox, I should say, people who were not directly involved in the what happened at the end of the show have continued to be on the roster. Lexi, they've all continued to be on the roster and be.
So hold on. So Lexi has been actively wrestling when I was told originally she was not.
Are we saying that she left the company with Jack?
No. So
it's been
I'm sorry. I had a phone call. Yeah, I have a phone call going on at the same time. Sorry. No. So the way you made it sound like less game every one of us were no longer working for the company whatsoever. Also, it wasn't Chris who won, it was Knox who won the title.
Yes, it was. Sorry, folks.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute, hold on, I have a belt.
Yeah, no, you won the match against.
Yeah, you made it kind of seem like all of us, except actually Bruiser, if I'm correct, were no longer working for the company.
I later retracted a bit on that. Later on the stream. So basically, it's up to Jack would have been fired, so it's up to Lexi as whether they wanted to stay with the company or not.
One eternity later.
To potentially gap film, the understanding I got from it, if I'm right, Carl, is Freak and Jack were fired. Sterling's contract ended naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally, because he had like a week on it. So Sterling's week ended. So he wandered off into a hospital in Yorkshire with the world title, and everybody else kept their positions as is, including Edwards, Chris, Bruiser, Scotty, whatever Bradley's character is now, and Lexi.
That's what I'm saying is I don't recall what Lexi's involvement in the ending bit was.
Lexi was there, so
like ran out,
but didn't get as involved as Jack. So I think your position was that you fired Jack and Freak basically, and the court case was them, and the court case was them doing Michael for
wrongful dismissal. Yeah,
for breach of contract, wrongful dismissal, and Michael basically trying to stick one on him. Is I think that's how I understood it.
Yeah.
But and I did have to watch through.
When we got to the end of the session last week, it was decided that only you and Freak were outright now fired from that thing. So it would be up to Lexi as to whether they carried on with RCW from that point.
Okay, because like I said, it wasn't made clear about that.
Yeah.
So I've literally been having it in my head. Lexi's not been wrestling because they've not been wrestling anybody within the company.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it was assumed to me when we last left off the session.
Right.
Was nobody was working, period, except likely Bruiser because he was McAllister's golden boy.
Yeah. Okay, so I think
that's where I've been very confused about this right now. That's what
I'm trying to remember. So I think it makes sense this way then. I think it makes sense that because of Jack's ongoing lawsuit, Lexi was essentially shelved, where Lexi had signed a contract, but they don't use them. They just keep them on the shelf and have them be paid to sit at home, basically.
Like half the AEW roster.
Because of the ongoing lawsuit with Jack. I think we discussed the Nova one was settled out of court in terms of any damage done to her, that kind of stuff. But basically, the remaining lawsuits up the air are the wrongful dismissal ones for Freak and for Jack. And Michael Mann is countersuing them for basically causing the incidents, the physical altercations that took place at the breach of contract to the end of the RCW tapings.
Okay, so essentially, Lexi's not even being told to come to the stops because they're not using them.
No, they're just like, we're going to pay you to sit at home until your contract's over, basically.
Okay.
Like, because of the younger, he's kind of like a sort of a AJ.
Also, with the fact Lexi is Jack's partner, and they probably feel like if Lexi's there, sneaky shit's happening probably.
Yeah, exactly. Well. Yeah, with an ongoing lawsuit, it's like conflict of interest, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So the ongoing lawsuit now would be Freak and Jack or unhappy that they feel like they were wrongly dismissed, Michael Mann is countersuing, saying you breach your contract by going against my wishes of the show, and Freak, you actively tried to assault me, like whether you succeeded or not, you tried to. So that is how it's got to look. Everything else has been settled out of court in terms of illegalities with Nova and something like that, but that is what has got to the court, is that situation.
Wrongful termination suit.
CWF have restarted. They've had a few shows. But basically RCW were gone for a few months, but they have rebranded and relaunched as basically a new thing with a whole new lineage of championships. Like the last lineage has not carried on at all, and they buried RCW, but just kept some of the wrestlers that stayed on. So in terms of Chris and Bruiser and those who stayed on, you're there. You do get the distinct idea, though, Chris, that anybody associated with the people who are in the shits with everything that went on, the old RCW people, you're not being buried, but you're not being used to your full potential. Let's put it that way. The only one that is Bruiser, and that's because McAllister
Bruiser's a bootlicker.
Bruiser has become now the owner of the BWF because McAllister has retired and given it to him, is what Bradley told me. So now Bradley is running the BWF, and basically that means he's got a position on the board, which means he kind of has protected himself against ramifications of this kind of fuck RCW mentality.
I love how it's
presumably
promotion. Lovely.
Presumably Edwards has also been maligned because
he's straight up.
He's under contract, but he pretty much he's in his first year and a half anyway, so it's not as big a deal for it to be done to him as with Chris, who I think has got some more.
Your contract just wasn't kept. Again, the company is relaunched as if it's not ICW, it's relaunched as CWF. They've not continued the title lineage. You retired as the last RCW champion, and nobody's really acknowledged it.
Apart from Sterling doing the convention scene in England,
that is basically where we have got to here for this session. So it's going to be a very different session, folks, as we deal with sort of, I guess, the courtroom drama of it all and decide what's going to be the shape of things going forward with this, because it was supposed to just be a wrestling segment to the end of the last show with Sterling getting the shit kicked out of him, and then everybody got involved and it all went to shit, and now we have to deal with it because now everything's gone to shit. Now I can't continue the show as it was. So, in typical RCW fashion, everybody got worked into a shoot. So, we are in the courtroom in upper state New York where everything is taking place. Michael Mann chose this basically.
upstate.
Basically found the home ground advantage of certain things that would be in his court for this. The ball would be in his court. There's been a couple of days of sort of procedural things as everything's gone over, and the jury have been introduced to what the case is, that kind of stuff, and it's a civil suit and not a criminal suit. Things are a little more about the litigation and stuff like that. If you'll forgive me, folks, I'm not a legal expert. I'm just going to make this up as I go. What'll work will be what was ever in Law and Order or whatever.
Says the man who has access to a legal expert and has.
Well, yeah, but he's not on. He's not wrestling. So he's not
I know.
Yes. So then we get to the day of the witnesses for the prosecution, and the first witness that is called is Jack. Jack, if you would take the stand.
I will say within a 7-month difference, Jack has not been sitting at home because I feel like this needs to be explained what he's been doing in between these months of being fired. Jack has, in his free time, decided to first originally open up a school and wrestling gym back in Jacksonville, Florida, where he's from, because him and Lexi moved back to Jacksonville to help with Nova's recovery. Then he decided a month later he was making his own wrestling promotion called VPW, Vetras Pro Wrestling. Essentially, in this universe, it is really becoming the GCW within the indies. Like, this is the one promotion everybody's coming to. Some weird shit happens, but everyone's having fun with it. Jack is the current, for that promotion, Blood Ring champion, which is essentially his equivalent to the hardcore champion, with Freak actually as his world heavyweight champion. He had also, within the first episode, and he did this off camera because Lexi, of course, is not allowed on camera at any other wrestling promotions. Decided at that moment to pop the question. And the fact is, Jack and Lexi are now actively engaged. Jack himself, also, he looks a lot beefier. He actually does have a proper looking mullet that's being taken care of effectively. He's also dropped the mustache to go for a full scruff beard now. Was it? And then also because he's actually dressed in a fine suit for the court hearing, but everyone can see on his neck he has a traditional American style moth tattooed on his neck. The very bright and obvious for everybody to see.
Okay.
But yeah, that's at least the update for Jack.
Okay, so as you take the stand, are you dressed in a suit or?
Yeah, Jack is 100% dressed in a suit.
Okay.
And it's a actual proper suit. That he's not putting any of his flamboyancy into it. He is dressed properly for court.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the prosecutor will take the podium. Could you please state your full legal name for the record?
My name is Tobias Alexander Jameson.
And you go by the wrestling name of Jack with various pseudonyms, correct?
Right now it's Outlaw Jack because that guy, and he points to me, and owns the right to my old name.
Yes, we are.
Because I realized Jack probably would have not realized he signed with signing over, he probably lost his name through the contract originally.
Mm-hmm. Will you take us back to the night of March the 13th, where you were backstage having wrestled your match, and you saw in the ring a wrestling match taking place between Oliver Sterling and the wrestler known as Bane? What do you recall taking place for you to interject yourself along with the rest of the group?
Well, actually, let me take you back right before that match happened, because Sterling came to me and you see him grin as he's about to say this, my fiance. He came up to the two of us actually before the match and looked at us both, and it's on camera as proof. He felt something wasn't right about this match. And he asked both me and my fiance,
Oh, I think we lost connection. Hello. Can everybody else still hear me?
What?
I got you.
You cut out for about 3 minutes there.
Oh, okay. So,
The last thing we heard was, and my partner...
Fiance.
And Sterling asked me, was the last thing we heard.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you Discord's already fucking up because I can't see anybody's camera because I was making sure I was... because once you said my camera went out for 3 minutes, I had to check the server. I have a feeling Discord's about to break because nobody has a camera on my end.
Okay.
So I'm just giving that heads up now.
Okay.
But so I said so he asked me and my partner to be there at the match because he actively felt like something wasn't going to be right about this match. Well, while my fiance and I were watching the match in the gorilla on the TV, we started to notice the punches Bane were throwing were actual punches. And it seemed like Bane was just continuously throw them at one after another. And like I said, Sterling asked both me and Lexi over there come out if something happened, and we saw essentially Sterling getting beaten the crap out of him. So we went running out to at least get him away from the safety of what it was happening and to make sure he was physically okay.
We'll stick in this until if Discord kills itself, we'll switch over to the chat. But for now, we'll stick in this one. All right, I understand. Now, when he said "come out and help," do you think he meant as a wrestling persona doing a quote unquote run in, or do you think he meant as you did? As just yourselves protecting your fellow worker?
I think it was as himself because the thing is, Sterling there and the previous owner of BWF, McAllister, had a very rough history with each other. And because apparently we found out McAllister was in charge of the booking for this match, I think that's where Sterling suspected something wasn't right. But he also knows both me and Lexi, we won't stop at the wrestling persona. If we think something's wrong, we'll come out regardless.
Did it not occur to you that perhaps the wrestler in question, Bane in this occasion, was being rough, but it was in the context of a wrestling storyline, and you should have kept to what your boss asked you to do since you were an employee of that company? You had just signed a contract and it was not your job to interject yourself. Perhaps you should have interjected yourself after the show had been over, not during the show's production.
I mean, I could have, but like I said, it didn't seem like Bane was making it like an angle or anything. It seemed like he was legitimately throwing punches at him. Now, I'll say this. Some of the audience they're saying they heard Bane actually say something to it, which justifies my actions to why I ran out to help Sterling.
Remind us, Tobias, what is your most famous type of wrestling match?
Oh, my most famous match?
The match the match that you're most known for, that you prefer.
Oh. Let's see. That's a lot because I've been doing a lot of matches I've enjoyed.
Just in general to cover
essentially
deathmatch, hardcore.
I mean, yeah, deathmatch, hardcore matches are typically my specialty. Yeah.
And in those matches, you've been known to hit each other with real glass, real hard weapons, causing real physical damage, yes?
Yeah.
But nobody interjected during those matches to stop you from using very real weapons that would, in fact, cause very real physical harm to you, in very much the same way as Bane was doing to Oliver Sterling in that match. Why did nobody get involved in your matches to stop you from stabbing somebody with a glass?
Well, first off, my other matches, I always actually will sit down with our bookers, go over all the spots I want to do, as well as with the other wrestler here beside me, go over, hey, here's the kind of weapons we can use. Now, here's a fun fact for you, man. Not all the weapons are actually solid.
I understand that.
Yeah, so it's not always hardcore weapons.
I
being
understand
used.
that, but you have used real glass and stabbed your opponent in the head to make them bleed, correct?
I don't think I've stabbed them in the head.
Oh,
I know I've hit
on
a
their,
few
on their
tubes
body.
on the head.
On their body, yes?
No, I've never stabbed somebody with the glass.
You've never
That's actually very dangerous.
You've never cut somebody with glass in a match.
I mean, I've shattered the glass tubes on them.
And then they
but
happen
I've
to
never,
get cut.
Yeah, but I've never taken a jagged edge.
Well,
like
yes,
you're
but
insinuating, sir, and actually purposely stabbed my wrestler buddies.
But
you're insinuating I'm being incredibly violent in that case scenario.
Absolutely, but when a glass shatters, it has cut them. That's my point. My point is that very real physical damage was done to you, and nobody got involved in the match because it was not part of the script for you to get involved with the match. Just as it was not part of the script for you to get involved in the Bane and Oliver Sterling match, which you should have adhered to your contract with RCW and stayed in the back until the show was over. If you had any grievances with any other participants involved, you should have brought them up with the people involved, correct?
I should have, but I wasn't going to because the people involved were the cause and problems of it too.
So you saw yourself as the person to...
I saw myself as someone who interrupted a match because I saw an old man getting the ever-living shit kicked out of him because according to some of the fans in the crowd, which, fun fact, I've been doing my research, talking to fans and all that, and I actually have video proof of someone capturing Bane saying, I'm sorry, I was being paid to do this to you in regards of beating the ever-living shit out of him. According to also another angle we have, it apparently might have been a hit put on Sterling. Now, I'll say that from that angle of the hit, that's from that video. I don't have any information from behind the scenes because
don't need to hear
the one person I think
I'm not the court.
Is a goddamn little coward.
We cannot hear from your...
I saw my friend get the ever-living shit kicked out of him. I did not give a flying fuck about my contract at the time. I cared about his physical safety. The difference is that was not in the script for him to get ever-living shit kicked out of him, as well as attacked by another masked individual after the match.
As you're doing this, the judge will slam his gavel down. Order. Thank you, Your Honour. We cannot take into evidence hearsay of things you've heard from other people, evidence that we haven't shown in court yet. If that evidence exists, we will show it. It'll be part of evidence. You can.
I'll just ask my lawyer. He has it all over there.
Well, we'll have that missing evidence at some point. However, I'm interested in what you saw, and that's all that we can elicit into evidence from yours. So everything that you've just said for the last probably 2 minutes is going to be stricken from the record. Now,
that's because you're a coward and you're being paid by McMahon.
We're doing my job to make sure that the right person wins this case, Tobias.
Sure, you could say that.
Now, once you were confronted by security at the event, where you were informed by the security that your boss had said, no, do not get involved, but you proceeded to assault these men and women to get past them. And let's just remind the jury, this was not some wrestling angle where security were paid wrestlers. They were real working men and women who were just doing their jobs, where these wrestlers decided to assault them to get past them to the ring. What justified that in your mind?
Well, first off, that's also incorrect, saying we assaulted them. There is actually some footage back there. We were pushing and trying to pull apart like Moses in the Red Sea, but nobody back there trying to get out to the ring was throwing a punch at anybody. We were pushing. Okay. We knew they weren't wrestlers. We know better than to actually hit them. We were pushing, not assaulting. And then he looked straight at Manford going, what with this look like, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you know a security guard by the name of Mason Grace? Do you know the name of Mace Grayson, the security guard?
No, I think he might have been new that night.
He suffered bleeding to the back of his head due to being pushed into one of the security railings and busting his head open. Now, whether that was intentional or not, you were all pushing with force to get to the ring, and he ended up getting injured. That, by very definition, is assault.
No, I'll agree with you on that termination. No, termination. Definition.
Mm-hmm. So, willingly or not, you assaulted security to get past them, to get to the ring, to insert yourself in a television production because you believed it had gone too far.
Yeah. And like I said, I did it because I saw somebody I cared about getting the ever-living shit kicked out of him, and I didn't approve of that situation. My concern was his safety.
What is relationship with you and Oliver Sterling?
Oh, Mr. Sterling? Are you saying now or then? Because those are two different categories.
Okay, let's start with then.
Oh, when we first started wrestling here, he had a lot of issues because I was transgender. And that's mainly because he didn't understand it.
Okay. But now?
Now he comes to my gym and about once a month, and he gives the kids there at the school, he'll sit with them and actually work with them on promo skills.
So you would call him a friend then?
Yes.
So, in your estimation, at what point do you feel like you could tell the Bane was no longer performing when he was attacking Oliver Sterling?
When he threw him into the corner and started throwing punches. I've actually fought Bane a couple times. That's not how he wrestles at all. Okay. He's not a guy who typically throws.
But you could tell that they were not worked punches?
Yeah, like I said, he doesn't really throw punches. He does one of those, like, kind of like a haymaker. He swings and tries to grab you because he's a big guy. But usually for him, throwing punches is very out of place for him. That's not usually his style. Very rare to even see. I've been at the end of one of his punches, but that's because I punched him first. But that was part of the angle the two of us did. But Bane typically does not throw punches.
I see. From what grounds would you say that you were wrongfully terminated from Revolutionary Championship Wrestling?
I think I was terminated on the unjustified grounds because I went running out, breaking the policy because I cared about the safety of a fellow wrestler instead of listening to my boss. I got fired for caring about somebody else instead of just letting it all in, let him get the shit kicked out of him, and possibly could have been worse.
Mm-hmm. I just want to repeat your words back to you. You deliberately broke the policy to do this, yes? So you deliberately defied your boss, defied your contract, went against his wishes, and went against the policy of the show because you thought it was the right thing to do.
Yes, because I cared about Mr. Sterling's safety and health.
I understand that, but by doing so, you therefore broke your contract.
And you know what? I'll do it again for something like that. I'll tell you that, and he's going to look at, man, I do not care at this point about my career. What you did with this was the bullshit part. I repeat, if this situation occurred again to not Sterling, but any other member on the roster, I would once again tell my boss essentially to go fuck himself, break through the security to run out to this ring to ensure their safety, because that's what's important to me, because we have too many injuries here on the field. I could care less if it was about my contract or whatnot. I don't care at this point anymore. I cared about the fact I did it to make sure, and he's pointing at Sterling at this point, to make sure that man was okay at the end of that wrestling match.
I understand that, but therefore, for you breaking those terms means you were terminated rightfully for breaking your contract. Therefore, you have no grounds for saying you were terminated on false grounds.
Oh, I wasn't. I'll agree with you, but I wasn't the only one who was terminated that night.
Okay.
This lawsuit ain't about me, just me.
No further questions.
He looks at me and kind of gives him like this look that says you're a pussy, and before he gets off the podium.
Yeah, your lawyer doesn't cross-examine or anything like that. Okay. The prosecuting, the opposing lawyer gets back. Okay, I would like to call the wrestler known as the Freak to the stand, please.
Well, the Freak, I'm not going to go into a huge backstory because I'm imagining that'll come out some in the conversation. But while I was listening, I actually kind of doodled a rough idea of what the Freak would be wearing. It's a nice vest and a shirt that would be more iron than I'm making it look.
Just
Not
saying,
a full
hell
suit,
yeah.
but essentially he's wearing a suit, but he's taken the jacket off. In a nutshell.
Okay. Would you please state your full legal name for the record?
Ross David Griswold.
Thank you, Mr. Griswold. On the night in question, March 13th, you did not go to the ring with the others. You did not brave out security. You stayed backstage. Would you recount for the court what happened when you were confronted by your boss after the confrontations at the rings began?
I had a feeling that things were going seriously wrong in that match. But with our business being what it is, a mixture of fiction and reality, of staged violence, and in this instance, legitimate, real violence, I had every feeling that what was going on in the ring was an attempt to take out Sterling for real. That said, unlike the others, I was willing to admit that I didn't understand something, that I was missing some detail, and so yes, I stayed in the back. I wanted to wait and see what happened. I'm not a fighter in real life. Me going out there to try to physically defend Sterling would not have done any good. But I was ready, backstage, to talk to Bane when he came back. And yes, that conversation would have involved a baseball bat if it came to it. The guy's like twice my height and 3 times my size, and I'm overweight.
Which justifies the use of a deadly weapon, but okay, carry on. What happened when Mr. Mann, your employer, approached you and asked you politely to return to the locker room?
I respectfully disagree with the politely part.
Okay.
He held up my contract, which, God forbid, why would he even have that in his hand at that moment? He had better things to do.
Maybe because you'd
And
signed
even
it
though
that
I
day, but,
was
yeah.
the one standing there peacefully, yes, I am shouting over the lawyer, just to be clear. Even though I was standing there peacefully waiting to see if more stern words were needed, he threatened me.
Threatened you with violence?
He threatened to destroy my contract, to light it on fire, I believe he said. I've heard that contradicted earlier tonight, so maybe I'm remembering that part wrong, but he indeed threatened to destroy my contract. And by that point, I had already made peace with throwing my career away if it turned out that Sterling being beaten like a dog was real life and not fiction. So yes, when he threatened me, I was, well, that's not the most professional term, but I was at the stage we'd call fuck it. Yes, I took a swing at him.
You were told to return to the locker room or you will be fired, essentially, and your response was to swing a baseball bat at your employer.
Given what he was doing at the moment and what little good I'd do defending Sterling, yes.
What was he doing at that moment? Standing across from you, asking you to go back to the locker room?
Why?
What you're saying because of what he was doing? What was he doing?
That's exactly my point. Why was he talking to me when somebody was being brutalized in the ring?
Maybe because he didn't want the situation to escalate any further. But I can only speculate on that.
If that was the case, why did he come to me?
Perhaps because you were.
I was just standing in gorilla.
Yeah, perhaps because you were the only one with a baseball bat. So.
No. Have you ever seen the locker room of a wrestling show?
Yes, and I've seen the footage of everybody who went out to the ring and not one of them had a weapon. You were the only one with a weapon, and perhaps he approached you to defuse you because you were the only one with a weapon.
I'm also the only one that waited until the weapon was possibly necessary.
Yes, but he didn't know that. He was trying to perhaps get you to return to the locker room before things escalated and that weapon came into use in the situation.
I have been trained in other careers I've done. I have been trained in de-escalation tactics. Walking into a mob scene with a baseball bat was de-escalation? I was not at the mob scene. The mob scene.
You were involved. You were around the situation where the security guards were pushed past.
I was nowhere near that.
Okay.
I was waiting in gorilla.
Yes, but that situation was not far away from you. Everything was going to chaos. People were fighting all over the arena. You show up with a baseball bat, and that's de-escalation.
No, I stand in a corner with a baseball bat waiting.
That's
and I never said that
absolutely.
was de-escalation.
Mm-hmm.
I was pointing out that his talking to me was not de-escalation. It was active provocation.
Provocation. I see.
Yes.
So, your employer threatening to terminate your contract is equivalent to battery and assault with a deadly weapon.
I would not say equivalent, but I would say it's a direct causal connection.
Perhaps you might need
I never said I was good at the de-escalation part.
Let me just throw something out there for the court. If one worked for Walmart, let's say, and they walked into their place of employment, say it was a Black Friday and everybody was pushing past each other, and one of the employees of Walmart turned up with a baseball bat, walked into the manager's office, and then the manager said, go back into the locker room until things have calmed down. And the employer then took a swing at the manager of Walmart with a baseball bat. That employee would be terminated, yes?
I would assume so, yes.
So on what grounds were you wrongfully terminated from RCW?
You want to know a secret?
I'm all ears.
I don't feel I was. I feel he had every reason in the world to terminate me. I'm here for two reasons. One, to get this story out in the light for a public record, because he is dirty,
Mm-hmm.
and he led to the end of Sterling's career, and I have no power other than this battle right here to make the world see that.
So, a wrestler...
And two, Jack's paying for the lawyer, so, you know.
Very well. But a wrestler was in a ring with another wrestler where he went too far in pretending to fight him, which caused everybody to go up in arms. For whatever reason, went down to the ring. You show up ready to assault that worker with a deadly weapon.
No, I showed up ready to talk to that worker with a deadly weapon.
I'm sure that there would have been a lot of talking involved with a baseball bat.
If he would have talked, there would have been.
I see. And then when your employer asked you to return to the locker room, you took a swing at him. And in doing so, not only was it a false hit or you were pretending to, you fully swung to the point that a woman, completely bystander, was injured in this assault.
She was not a bystander. She was standing beside me with a pair of scissors, as I remember, ready to do much the same thing I was. So you want to discuss deadly weapons? There you go.
If you want to
That
incriminate
said,
your accomplices, you go right ahead.
Well, nobody's charging her, so...
I mean, that could change.
The thing is, well, hey, I've already established myself as an unreliable speaker here, so good luck with that. The thing is,
yes, you have. I think perhaps, sir, perhaps anger management might be a good idea if you think that a baseball bat is the good thing is a thing to bring to a situation like that, and perhaps if you think that's the correct response to
an assault. Yes,
to an assault. There was no assault on you at all.
Yes, there was.
What was the assault on you?
Not on me, on Sterling.
I see, and then that somehow transfers to the boss, who was not involved in that assault.
Okay, quick out of character question. I'm talking to McMahon's
lawyer. This is his lawyer. Yes.
This is his lawyer. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I'm picturing it right.
Yeah,
in my head.
I'm not doing voices, but you know.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure.
I didn't want to do some terrible New York accent or something. Yeah.
That's fine. Well, quite frankly, he pays you. You're going to say whatever will win you this case. Like most of my life, I'm not in here to win. I'm here to get out the message.
I don't think I need to say much, sir, considering how incriminating you made yourself in this whole situation. Your argument is not rational. There is no situation in which a baseball bat is de-escalation. There is no situation in which a baseball bat is a logical response to being terminated. Even if you were terminated from employment and you beat your employer up, that is not something that is legal in the United States, or in fact most other countries.
There, you claim that a baseball bat is not a logical reaction to being terminated. Your causality is mixed up here. Termination came after the baseball bat.
Oh, a threat of termination, sorry. So it was even less of an offence that you reacted to. That triggered you so much that you decided to assault your employer with a deadly weapon.
Well, what can I say? It's pro wrestling.
Exactly. And in pro wrestling, wrestlers beat each other up. So perhaps you all should have thought about that before you decided to take matters into your own hands.
I tried to. I was standing in the locker room waiting for more information.
You were standing in the locker room with a baseball bat ready to assault one of the workers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand how that is a
Anti-Warrior was holding a Power Ranger sword earlier that night. Various people have kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Holding a weapon is not a crime.
Okay, but just to recall, in all those situations, those weapons were swung at other wrestlers in wrestling matches, whereas you swung yours at your employer who's not a wrestler, correct?
Touché.
No further questions. You may step down. All right. I don't think I need to, but I guess we'll get the other character witnesses in here anyway. I want to call Oliver Sterling to the stand, please.
So, am I putting in... Because Sterling basically was hit so hard, he was hospitalised in the UK with severe concussion-related trauma. To such a point that his doctors weren't massively happy with clearing him to come to the US for this court case, but Mann pulled some strings and Sterling was forced to come. Like people, like the police.
In your mind, he's being helped.
Sterling was brought.
Yeah, and in your mind, he's been helped up onto the stand by his protege, by Evans.
He's helped up. He's helped up by Edwards. He's got a walking stick. Like it's the same walking stick, but this is a real. This is the legit. This isn't his gimmick walking stick. Like this is a real. Like Sterling looks like a 65-year-old man now. Like he's showing his age, whereas before he was he had more energy to him. Like this man looks like he could drop dead tomorrow. So he comes up to the he gets up to the stand and he sits. There's a seat on the stand, isn't there? Because
my only comment is, oh, this poor old man. God damn, this poor old man.
And the lawyer's about to tear him to shit, but the old man. So Sterling gets up onto the stand and he I'd like to. I'm gonna say they put some sort of seating for him because his eyes are darting all over the place. Like this man is not well. This man is not well, and the judge is not going to be happy that this beaten up old man is here. But man pulled some strings, and Sterling is here.
Okay. Please state your full name for the record for the court, please.
Oliver Sterling. I never really got in for middle names.
I see. So, on the night in question. Now, I have been referring to everybody by their wrestling giving name just so because it's what's entered on the legal documents, but you were in a match with the wrestler known as Antonio Gutierrez, also known as Bane, for the championship, and other people in this court have claimed that he took it too far, began to hurt you for real. What is your recollection of that match?
I should probably state at this point that there have been documents submitted to the court that indicate that I have suffered memory loss as a result of what occurred at the night in question. My medical records have been submitted to the court. Your Honour will have seen them. But I have regained some compos mentis memory of the night. I was booked to defend the championship against Bane. I mean, I didn't even know the guy's full name, so
Antonio.
I've learned something new. Yeah, I knew from the business in my time, everybody just used their wrestling names. That was, you introduced yourself to the guys in the back. You told them who you were, and that was who they were. So he's Bane to me, and I will continue to address him as Bane as such. I was worried ahead of the match because, long story short, many years ago I was involved in an incident that the world is very aware of, and I took several years out of the business after that. I was pushed to the outside of the business by involvement from one of Michael Mann's partners, one of his partners being the gentleman known as McAllister. He used his influence in the business to how would you put it? To sully my good name, I believe it would be the legal terms. See, I've sat in courts before, so I know. It resulted in me losing a lot of my career, a lot of years of my career. So when I got the opportunity in RCW, I took it with both hands because it was that or retirement. Well, I've ended up having both, haven't I? But so on the night in question, I was booked to defend that championship. As far as I was aware, going into the match, I was supposed to come out of that match victorious, possibly by disqualification.
Did you approach backstage Tobias and their partner Lexi and suggest that if the match became too real, that they should become involved?
You see, I knew McAllister was floating around backstage, and I knew he had his hooks into people backstage. He had his hooks into the owner. So when I was booked into a singles match with a wrestler who has wrestled in exclusively tag team matches for the last 15 years, I smelt a rat. I'll be quite honest with you. I smelt a rat. I thought this doesn't smell right.
Is that because the character McAllister appeared on television and put you into this match?
No, I have. My problems in this wrestling business came from the man McAllister, the real man.
But he appeared as a character on screen and put you in this match, yes, playing quote unquote a heel.
He appeared on screen playing a heel, absolutely. But I know that he had sway within the business, within the company, and that this match happened at his request. Because
you
I know
not only did he book the match in the character, you think he booked the match in person as well to punish you.
I do think that, yeah.
Putting you against a giant wrestler, yes.
I personally feel that match was set to allow Bane to.
I see. And at some point, I hope I'm getting an answer to the question: did you approach Jack and Lexi and ask them to get involved?
I approached Jack and Lexi, and I said to them, and I asked them to be on hand in case things go wrong, because it was in my opinion that there was going to be something after the match or during the match. There's a lot of people in McAllister's circle who I feel would get involved. Now, I don't know whether that was Bane, but I do know that during the match, he threw live rounds, as we call it in the business.
Live rounds being real, unpulled punches. He hit you with full force powered punches.
I certainly believe he hit me harder than he needed to.
And that has resulted in your condition today?
Yes, my doctors will, and the paperwork that you, I assume, have read, because that is your job, would say that I have got concussions that I shouldn't have, that came up as a result of being hit in the top of my head. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a concussion. I would imagine not, because when all of your life takes place in an air-conditioned office, you probably don't get hit in the head very often.
Irrelevant, Mr. When you get to the point and answer the question.
Yes, he was throwing live rounds at me. I believe that.
Okay. And in your mind, do you believe that your fellow workers were right to interfere in your match and make the show go off the air the way it did by going against the script?
I think it went too far. The whole
You think Bane went too far, or you believe that the people who interfered on your behalf went too far?
I think everybody went too far. Bane.
Okay. I need definition on who you mean by everybody.
Everybody involved. Bane was throwing, and I was going, and I will run through everything. Bane.
Hopefully this
was
time
throwing live. Bane was throwing live rounds, and as such, I can understand why Jack and Lexi felt the need to attempt to break the situation up. Now, under wrestling parlance, that would have resulted in a double disqualification. Now, I don't know what happened with security. I didn't see any of that because I was knocked out. Bane hit me in the top of my head and I lost several hours of time. I woke up after the show. So
your
my memory ends. My recollection stops when Bane hits me in the top of the head. I have been told versions of events, but as you yourself said earlier, second-hand information is worthless here.
Do you believe that your fellow workers were right to get involved? Or do you believe that they should have stuck to the script and dealt with it afterwards?
I was expecting the match to be thrown out as a result of people from the back getting involved. So I was expecting people to come out.
So in your mind, they should have done it, but they should have done it as the script pertained, as part of a wrestling angle, instead of as themselves protecting you.
Well, I appreciate that they came out to help me because ultimately the state I'm in today is a result of this. But when security got involved, as I've been told, I can't really give you much else on that. But I do feel they were in the right interfering. Yes.
And if they hadn't?
If Bane had hit me again, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation.
You believe that a professional wrestler would have murdered another professional wrestler?
My doctor, Dr. Peters, has told me if I had taken one more shot to the head, I may have been killed. That's all I can tell you.
All right. You may step down.
Sterling gets up from the stand and gingerly makes his way down from the stand. You can tell, like, the lights in the room have caused him some pain. So he goes back over to where Edwards is, and he sort of sits down, and Edwards passes him a pair of, like, those blackout glasses to sort of try and ease some of his pain, really.
So the next day, that's the end of that day's things, and then wraps up. The next day will be the defence's witnesses, and well, not defense, but I'm using defense because it's the terminology I use, but the opposing sides. Now, for sakes of the main conversation there will probably be with Michael Mann. I don't want to just talk to myself. So Riley, since you've not really been involved, how do you feel about being the other lawyer?
Be our lawyer.
I can absolutely be your other lawyer if I know what the fuck I'm gonna say.
So do you want? Do you?
You're trying to defend Jack and Freak essentially from the events that are happening. Going, these guys did do this with incredibly justifiable reasons. You're
Yo,
trying to do
no,
that.
that's not the problem. The issue is that I need to be able to like defend, and if I can defend, that's fine. I just need a an in. I need an in, and then
Yeah.
I'll just dive into it.
Yeah, well, you'll get those opportunities. Don't worry.
Okay,
if you're
yeah,
saying
no,
we're
I'll be.
indefensible,
Do
Yeah,
Jack,
hey,
you
yo.
do you want me to pause?
Let's
Hang on.
let's
Do
be
you
your defense
do
lawyer.
you
Let's
want me
go.
to
I'm
pause the recording
excited.
for 5 minutes and let you three have a conversation where you basically? Well, no, not pause the recording. I'll tell you what. We'll do this as in character. Let's have that night. Riley, you can make up the name of whatever your attorney is called.
Okay.
Make up a name.
Yeah, I could care less.
You can sit down with your clients, Tobias and Ross, and you are going to decide on what you're. So, in character, however you want to do it, you guys should have a sort of huddle right now and decide what your angle is going to be for the next day.
All right. I'm not even gonna try super hard. My literal attorney's name is Matthew Mann. Let's go. My name is Matthew, and I gotta defend you, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Matthew Mann against Michael Mann. Okay.
Let's go.
Right. Okay. So
Let's go,
yeah.
Matthew.
So Jack, or Tobias and Ross, you were in a conversation with Matthew Mann that night, deciding your defense strategy for the next day. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
But I would say Lexi's also there too because
Of course.
they're gonna follow their fiance. Their entire life got put on hold. That's why they became a farmer again. Because that's all Lexi could do.
I did see that he became a farmer. All right, like that part doesn't really matter to the case. Let's back it up a little bit.
That's not me in character. Jack has the accent for character talk.
No,
I do that
that's
on
fine. I'm
purpose.
just saying, like, and I understand that
Yeah.
Jack went off and did his farm thing, but we need to talk about what happened before, and we need to do the defense for that. Come
It
on,
wasn't Jack who became a farmer. That was Lexi.
nigga.
Regardless, fuck
Okay,
that lawyer. Fuck him.
ayo. I'm trying my best.
Listen, we have the proof. Like you have all the evidence we collected from the fans, the videos from all the different angles about the attack, including the surprise attack at the end. We have all the tweet conversations that people are talking about. Like we have the proof to go, man, you are fucking dick. Not you, the other man.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. Like, I'm not a dick. I just showed up. The other man is a dick.
Told you to. Jack 100% is using his parents' lawyers. You're a top tier lawyer.
Yo, no, absolutely. So, like, all right. So
cool.
all right. So we have a case. We do technically have a case. Continue. Tell me more.
I mean, Ross is Freak there for this conversation too.
I'm assuming so, but
Okay.
I only
You're
have
both
limited
here. You're
things
both
to
here.
say.
You're
Yeah.
both here.
I'm asking you just in character. If there was a meeting, would Ross be there? That Ross Freak would be there. I mean, and he looks at Freak. We kind of did admit we have no regrets about the violence we did. Like I'm not gonna lie, I would still do it again if it meant to protect somebody, without a doubt. But like, we didn't cause the violence. Like the fact was, security was instantly there to stop us as that match was happening. Like we're being called the accusers of the violence, but we're not. And all man's lawyers just trying to make it go, oh, it's make me and Ross here the scapegoats for his own fuck up.
So, all right, I just want to touch on that fact real quick. If you're going to say that they made you a scapegoat, what makes you feel that way?
I mean, they're pinning this all on the two of us to be the cause of the violence. Like you heard on the stand today. We saw something was going wrong. We didn't trust it was going right. So we tried to get to Sterling to help it. Well, I tried. Freak was going to have a conversation with Bane about it.
Wait,
But, like, they're
pause
pinning this
there.
all on
Pause
us.
there. Pause there. Freak, did you ever
Yes.
actually have that conversation with him?
I never had the chance.
Yeah,
I
because
tried.
Ma was
didn't
on
have
the
a
floor
chance.
with a
No,
broken
No,
face.
no, Jack. I didn't need. I'm talking to Freak right
I
now.
followed him to a couple cities after the show, but I don't know if I just got unlucky or he was dodging me, but no, I never did find him.
That is the best version of what I needed to hear. All right, perfect. So you hadn't had the Freak specifically a chance to speak to Bane at any point prior to
No.
this attack.
Not anything topical to this.
Understood. That being said, Jack, you also had no opportunity to speak to Bane or Freak about this attack, correct? So you had
Um,
no prior knowledge?
I mean, I knew what happened because of obvious reasons, because Ma's face got bashed in. But I only know the side.
I'm not talking about what happened as a fallout. I'm
on.
just talking about
I know.
like
I'm
you
trying
did
to
not
answer that
have
for you.
an opportunity to speak before.
No, because I didn't find out until what happened until after I got told about Nova's condition. And then I heard from Nova's side and Freak's side about what happened.
Let me tell you something about it being a defense lawyer. Is say less.
I mean, I'll say less on the stage. I'm just letting
Say
you know.
less. No. Say less. You're good. That's perfect. All right, so
what she's saying is you have the right to remain silent, just not the ability.
No, literally, yeah. Say less. I just need to know what I am asking, and then
Once
nothing
again,
else.
my Discord dropped again.
Damn.
Your Discord, hey yo, you need.
And it's actually Discord. It's not my Wi-Fi because I ran a speed test. I have almost a gig of fucking internet.
Hey yo,
Discord's being a fucking cunt to me.
That's a you problem, not a me problem. But it is what it is. I understand what I need to do. So I'm about to fucking defense lawyer the shit out of both of you guys, and let's go. Let's do the thing. I'm ready.
Right. So
I have one thing to say as an aside to Jack as we're walking out.
Mm-hmm.
Jack?
Yeah.
You couldn't have hired Saul Goodman or somebody of his caliber?
Hey yo.
I mean, Man's a company lawyer. He's one of the best for Jameson appliances.
I'm gonna defend the fuck out of you, and then when we get out of this, I'm gonna slap the fuck out of you too, because I'm gonna be able to defend the fact that I slap the fuck out of you.
Your client already on the stand, by the way.
I'm gonna be like, let's defend. And then I'm gonna
defend
the fact that I hit you.
I'd like to point out your client already on the stand said, yeah, I broke my contract and I'd fucking do it again.
I'll do
Jack just sitting there saying, yeah, that's how our lawyers are at Jameson.
You shut the fuck up.
Well, no. It's because Man's from Jacksonville, Florida. Like, Jack. He's fucked up fucking weird.
Shut the fuck up.
Right, okay. So, the next day is the day for the defence calling the witnesses. So, it is up to you, Matthew Mann, who you want to call to the stand, in what order, and what questions you want to ask. And then I'll do the prosecutor doing the cross-examination if I need to.
I will also remind people, Nova at this point is capable to speak like she's perfectly fine. She's just not there because no one's called for her to be there.
No, well, yeah, that was all settled out.
Oh, yo, that is great information for me.
Nova can be called as a witness if needed to.
Yeah, Nova. That's what I'm saying. Nova theoretically can be called in to defend Freak's side.
Hey, yo.
But I'll leave that to be the lawyer.
She was the only other person other than Man that witnessed that conversation. Yeah.
What?
She was the only other person other than Man and Freak that were there for that conversation, to be fair. So.
Yeah, and Man's lawyer didn't call her up.
So it's up to you The judge will.
And I'm still quietly hoping Mann somehow pulled her in front of me or something, because I'm still trying to pick the logistics.
Fuck you. So that morning, the gavel comes down as the judge takes a seat. We are back to the case of CTV and Michael Mann against Tobias. Sorry, what's Tobias? Jameson, sorry. Tobias Jameson and Ross. What was your last name? Sorry, Ross?
Griswold.
The character's basically an autobiographical thing, so I make fun of myself by using
Ross Griswold and Tobias Richardson against CTV and Michael Mann. Today, the defense will, or the representatives of Tobias and Mr. Griswold will call their witnesses. Matthew Mann, with no relation to the other party in this case, you may call your witnesses.
Okay, so we're gonna call the freak to the stand.
Ross Griswold to the stand, please.
Okay.
My first question for you is, what is the activity that you remember happening leading up to the incident?
Well, he never talked to me about it, but I know Sterling was very worried about events. And let's see.
Just your version of it. Like, I don't need to know what the court doesn't need to know what anybody else thought, but like when you personally were told that you needed to go up there and do the thing, like that is what I'm asking for. There was no warning.
Confused. Go up there and do the thing.
Yeah, you were told go up there, do the thing. There was no other direction.
Go back to the locker room. Well, some context on why that hit so hard. Much like Sterling, the company was not very impressed with me, the worker, and I was given an insulting contract. I went out there, had an excellent match, and I believe I changed Mann's opinion. Before Mann, I was told I was next in line for the heavyweight championship after Sterling's run. Mann comes in, takes that away from me, and insults me. And he made a point of telling me that I was getting paid of what Jack was. Pretty obvious, hey, trying to make you jealous tactics, if you ask me. So we were already on some pretty poor footing, frankly.
This is immediately after the new.
This is company. About a week before the incident you're referring to.
The show. What I'm referring to is like this is immediately after a new company came, bought out your shit, and then proceeded to give you a really shit contract. That's what we're talking about.
Michael Mann and his lawyer
I was offered
looking at each other like, what the fuck is this guy on?
I was offered a really bad contract, but I was offered a good one. And I signed it, and that is what he threatened to burn if I didn't go back to the locker room.
Understood. Okay.
Your Honor, objection. Could the opposing defense perhaps use more legal terminology than your shit, please?
No.
In defense, we gave somebody to play a lawyer who doesn't know a lot of legal terms.
Perhaps let's keep the profanity. Let's keep the profanity.
I'm gonna be profane.
The judge looks at you, and says, "If we could perhaps keep the profanity to a minimum on the record, please."
I will do my best. Thank you, Judge.
Some Jacksonville, Florida lawyers, yo.
That being said, the freak can vacate the stand, and I would like to cross-examine Jack at this point.
But, cross-examine.
Jack...
Cross-examine means the other person, but you want Jack on the stand, okay?
Yeah. I want Jack on the stand. Shut up,
judge,
you know what I want.
The judge.
You told me I can't be profane, and I just fucked my whole language up.
Judge,
you don't understand.
The judge will look at the other side. Do you want to cross-examine? They'll waiver. Even though it is very obvious to all involved that the opposing lawyer is extremely high. They will just let continue calling up
so
Jack.
Sorry. We're bringing Jack up to the stand.
Like I said, this just fits the fact Jack's doing all of this in the base of Jacksonville, Florida. Like, it just makes
Hey yo. Hey yo.
These are the lawyers his family hires for their company. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Jack makes his way, of course, to the stadium, still dressed to the tens and shit like that.
All right, bet. So, hey yo, this song that I'm listening to is really fucking good. Anyways.
Did the lawyer just say that in the middle of court?
No.
Just looking at each other like, what the fuck?
I think that's why Brawley just broke. Because they were about to go in character and said that.
There's about to be a mistrial.
No, we're good. Alright, so we're bringing Jack to the fucking shit. We're bringing Jack to the thing.
Tobias Richardson to the stand, please.
Tobias to the stand.
Come that's perfect timing because I froze again.
Come to me.
Come. He makes his way to the stand.
Come for me.
Stop asking him to come.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, but Jack makes his way to the stand. He's still dressed incredibly appropriate, which is still baffling to a lot of people. Except Lexi, who's just in the audience, is like, God, fuck, my fiance looks goddamn hot in a suit. But no, Jack makes his way to the stand.
Jack is on the stand. All right, so the first question that I'm going to ask is, what exactly were you thinking as the word that I want to say is gone? Oh shit!
Shenanigans.
Ah, fuck.
Assault? Incident?
Okay, so the incident that happened at that particular time, what exactly was on your mind at that point? Because a lot of people want to know.
I mean, while Sterling's getting attacked, literally, I'm in my head just going, got to get out there to make sure he's fine. Like, that's literally the main thing I cared about, was making sure Sterling was perfectly okay in the ring.
So your whole goal was to make sure that Sterling was okay.
Yeah.
And there was no other ultimatum with that, correct?
No, like, I mean, yeah. They told us don't go out there, but as you heard me said, I was concerned for Sterling's safety. I got out there because Bane was throwing actual punches, and Sterling was just taking a blunt after blunt hit, and I just wanted to make sure he was fine. And we heard Sterling's statement yesterday. If it wasn't for my interference, he would have been actually worse.
So I just want to, for the record, make sure that you only pulled the punches that you did because you were trying to help a friend, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. Okay. I rest my case. Hey, Jack can go. I want to talk to Bane. I want to talk to Bane. Bring that bitch over here. Let's go.
Okay.
The one person we needed to talk to that the prosecution didn't.
Tobias, no, not Tobias. That's you. Antonio Martinez to the stand, please.
Is he wearing his mask
Antonio.
out of
He is.
actual respect?
Because he's a luchador, he's still wearing his mask. However,
Fantastic.
Respect the fact that he is a luchador and he can wear his goddamn mask.
Wearing
That's
a
fine.
full three-piece black suit, standing every bit of 7 foot tall as he takes a seat on the stand. The judge looks intimidated. Like, you know how the thing here, and the judge is here. He's at the same level as the judge.
Okay. As someone who is of average height, I am not intimidated because fuck you. That is literally the only point there. That being said, I have questions for you, motherfucker.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
Perhaps you should ask your questions.
All right. Who gave you the idea? I'm gonna just give you the benefit of the doubt and say idea, but who gave you the idea to fucking assault one of the wrestlers on the roster?
The promoter told me to make it look good and to beat him down until he would defeat me in the ring. I was following my directions from the booker.
How long have you been wrestling?
17 years.
So you've been wrestling for 17 years and someone tells you to make it look good and you destroy their career? How does that work? Explain it to me.
I am not to fault that he is a feeble old man who could not take my offense.
No. It's not a fact that they couldn't take your offense. It's a fact that they told you to annihilate someone. And if they didn't tell you to annihilate someone, then they told you to beat them. And that's different. If they told you to annihilate someone, how would you have done it?
The other lawyer is going to stand up and say, "Objection! This is all extreme conjecture."
Oh, not like they were doing towards Jack and Freak.
The judge will say.
The other lawyer hasn't said shit until now. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
The judge will say, "Let's keep the speculation to a minimum and stick to the facts, please, Mr. Mann."
The fact of the matter is,
please get to your questions.
This wrestler has decided that they were going to annihilate my client on the orders of their fucking whatever
objection, Your Honor.
They want to do. No,
we're going
no
to get to a
objections.
question here. Is there going to be? This is not a closing statement. You need to get. This is supposed to be questions to your witness.
Ah, shit. I'm actually getting a legit phone call. Hold on. Ah, shit. Hold on.
The one person who actually could act like a lawyer, aka me, is the plaintiff and can't do lawyer shit.
Yo, no, I legitimately need a second. Hold on.
I mean, I had the phone call too, so. No, I've been keeping Bradley updated about this session in our private chats.
The fact that you have a high lawyer who's just like, what the fuck are you doing, man, is so...
Listen, okay, so you also asked Riley to be the lawyer?
I was just trying to get them involved.
Riley's got no job here.
Yeah, like I said, the lawyer's from Jacksonville, Florida, and it's from Jack's parent family's company. This makes sense. The
fucking Stowe lawyer being like, what the fuck were you thinking?
waiting for the Chewbacca defense, not gonna lie.
I think we may have to have this day.
I told Riley, I'm like, you should call Nova to the stand because it would be funny at this point.
I feel like this day is probably going to get thrown out, and then the judge is going to have a conversation with you two about possibly getting a new lawyer. Because you're not looking good right now. That your judge is extremely high, and
I mean, it's also like I've stated. And I need to remind Riley, there is actual evidence.
Yeah.
So when Riley gets
sure
we'll get there's evidence. Riley,
do all those things. No, do all those things. I'm too drunk to do the things. Goddamn.
Too drunk? I thought you were high.
Oh, a little bit of both. Not gonna lie. I'm just saying.
You're crossfaded.
Yeah, I'm a little crossfaded.
I say we just keep it going at this point because it's just too funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's the only way we're gonna make a court scene funny is, Jack and Ross's lawyer. Oh yeah, no, they're a damn stoner. Yeah, no, this makes it entertaining.
No.
Let's be real.
No.
Let's make sure they're still willing to be funny when they're sober.
They cannot have me as their lawyer. That is insane. They cannot have me as a lawyer. No.
Okay, at this point the judge was going to call it for the day and ask for Ross and Tobias to come and meet him in his chamber.
No.
Do you want me to play the lawyer?
He'll come back. He'll call you in and say, "Okay, I don't know where you got this guy, but I do not want him in my courtroom again. He is clearly on some sort of substance, and he's not helping your case at all. You were absolutely...
I'm aware.
You were absolutely killed by Mann's lawyer yesterday, and today you made yourselves look so much worse with this display.
I'll contact my parents and have a conversation. This lawyer was sent to us through the corporation of my family. I'll request another one for tomorrow. Don't worry.
So, whoever wants to play the replacement lawyer can do so.
I will do replacement lawyer since I actually have a criminal justice degree and a sociology degree and was trying to be a social worker.
Right. So,
you guys going about PJ. PJ going, we have PJ. I'm like, what the fuck about me?
So,
yeah, I forgot about your background. I didn't know that. So that's why I mentioned PJ.
On the third day, that morning, a new lawyer for Tobias and Ross steps in, and his name is, or her name, or their name, is whatever it is when Jack's internet decides to work. Because I think it might have just dropped out again.
Okay,
there we go.
No, I'm actually dropping Wi-Fi now. This is actually a problem because we were having this issue with the other computers upstairs. They just replaced our router, and I'm dropping severely. This is not okay.
Wow.
I might have to restart my computer, but I'm not doing that right now.
Okay.
The ultimate worst case is I just go mobile.
Okay. Right, so, the next day, who is the new lawyer replacing Matthew?
Because at this point, I think it would just be hilarious. It's Nova's brother.
Okay.
Jack just goes to Nova and it's like, send me fucking Santos. Like, I wasn't going to try to use him just so he's not involved. I need fucking Santos.
Okay.
So this bulky guy also in a 3-piece suit, because like I said, Nova's there, she's just not in court. So her brother is also there. He comes in and he does have a bit of, like, you can see some tattoos on his hand, a little bit peeking out from his collar on his neck. He looks intimidating as fuck, but not as big as Bane.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But his name is Santos Vasquez.
Nice. So,
yes.
Of Latino persuasion.
Yes. Yeah, he's Nova's, well, Puerto Rican black, because Nova is Puerto Rican black.
Okay. So, the judge will say, day 3, even though it should have only been 2 days, still here with his case. I believe that the opposing side has a new defense attorney, Mr. Vasquez, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to call your first witness, please?
Yes. Because yesterday was a fiasco, I would like to call Mr. Ross Griswold back to the stand to get a more appropriate statement from the defense.
Very well.
Okay.
Mr. Griswold, yesterday you did start talking about some of the contract negotiations and discussions. Would you be willing to kindly go over those once again, if you don't mind?
Well, when Mann's company came in, they offered, they not only was it a low contract showing what appeared to be their opinion of my value, Mann himself made a point of outright telling me it was only half the money Jack was making. It was either an insult or a tactic to try to make me jealous enough to go at him. I turned things around by putting in a really good match that night. Mann offered me a fair contract, and that's pretty much it. That's the contract he threatened to burn.
Okay. And you did say when he threatened this, he was not polite. How would you describe the threat in your viewpoint?
Extremely verbally hostile. This is clearly a man that's used to getting what he wants. I would compare it to how somebody would speak to a dog. I mean, that's something of a cliche, but I mean that most literally. Like, come here, boy. Do this, boy. Sit, stay. That was the impression I got.
Okay. And in regards to the bat swing, you stated you had the bat there because, of course, Bane, as we all saw yesterday by his incredibly large statues, is a very intimidating person just on sight. You had your weapon there as a defense just in case something went wrong during your conversation with him, correct?
That was my intention, yes.
So you had the bat with you as a moment of self-defense due to the chaos that was started within the area, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you had no main intention to attack Bane whatsoever. If you guys had a conversation, you had the bat there as a self-defense tool in case the conversation went sideways. Am I correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll ask you to step off the podium for now. Thank you, Mr. Griswold. Santos is going to turn to the judge and then turn to everybody. I would like to call my sister, Nova Vasquez, to the stand.
Nova Vasquez to the stand, please.
So, Nova actually is sitting in the far back because there is a little bit of a confidence issue still. She stands up, and everyone can immediately tell, like, right over her right eye, there is an eye patch there because she is still getting some surgery to fix some of the broken bones in her face. But underneath the patch, you can see the bit of the scarring from the top of it and a little bit from the bottom. Nova does look a lot thinner than before because, of course, she could not eat for a while because her face was bashed in. But she makes her way to the stand. And I get to have a conversation with myself, but we have already witnessed me have a wrestling match by myself. So this ain't a problem. Santos looks at her as like, can you please give us your full name and the name you go by also? And Nova just looks at him. And everyone can see while she's already on the stand, her right hand is starting to tremor a little. And she does quickly like hold it to just try to control it. Because the little things do matter here. She looks at him and goes, my name is Nova Vesquez, also known as Nova Delight. Thank you. I love the fact I also have voice differences for this. Now, Miss Vesquez, can you please recount the events that led to Mr. Griswold hitting you with a baseball bat? Nova, because the prosecutor didn't question Nova about any of this. Nova sits there. She takes a deep breath in and then lets it out before she starts speaking. I was in the makeups and hair section when I started hearing all some of the crew members back there mention there is something going on, a commotion. As a trans woman and someone who is also Black and Hispanic, and seeing there's a rumble, I did fear for my safety. I did grab a near-pipe pair of scissors because like I said, I was afraid for my own safety from statuses of the past and all that. I made my way to the was freaking the gorilla of the locker room. I cannot remember which. Or were you like in the hallway?
It was
in my mind. It was in gorilla.
Yeah,
it was the gorilla. Okay,
I was trying to channel that Undertaker taping up his fist meme, basically.
Okay. I came to the gorilla and saw Mr. Griswold there, and I stood beside him because I knew if something was happening, Griswold would be someone I could be safe with just in case. I'm not a fighter. I do drag, I do makeup, I do all that. I did hear Mr. Mann come up to Mr. Griswold in an unprofessional manner, threaten him with the contract. It was not polite. It was aggressive. And he did say, if you do not get back to the locker room like I'm telling you to, you can kiss your career and contract goodbye. At that point, I could see Mr. Griswold was getting very emotional because tensions were high just in general. And when I saw him go to swing because he was provoked and pushed to that point, I stepped in to try to stop him. Sadly, as we can all see, and she kind of motions to her face, I took the blunt damage for it. Her brother looks at her, is like, so you can confirm before he swung, Mr. Griswold was threatened with his career in a very unsavory manner, correct? Correct. All right. Thank you, sis. Go head on back. And Nova gets up and starts walking back, but like before she goes through, Jack, of course, gets up and gives her a hug before she actually goes back and sits down. All right. Mr. Mann, I would like you to please come to the stand.
Michael Mann to the stand, please. Michael Mann to the stand. As he gets up in his power suit, walks very confidently, and sits down with a smug look on his face and looks at you expectantly.
Would you please state your name for everybody here, please?
Michael Joseph Mann.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. And what is your position within the company?
I am the deputy director of Central Television, and I am the current owner and executive producer of the CWF, formerly known as RCW.
Okay, I froze again. I'm switching to mobile real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
everybody hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right.
So
This is ridiculous.
He responded saying he's the executive producer of the CWF, formerly known as RCW.
Okay.
And vice president of CTV.
Okay. So, Mr. Mann, I would like your account of the baseball bat incident. Would you please go over that with us, please, here for everybody in the court?
I had lost control of a portion of my locker room, and I was trying to get security to get the taping under control so we could get back to having the show go as planned. And I spotted Mr. Griswold standing in the vicinity of the gorilla position where I was, holding a baseball bat. Near him was Nova, who you just set up a moment ago, with scissors. I approached both of them, particularly Mr. Griswold, in an attempt to try and de-escalate the situation. I told him to return to the locker room, or he would be terminated on the spot immediately. Now, was that a bit rash? Was that a bit harsh to target him personally? Yes. However, he was the person in front of me with a weapon, and he was the person who I had in my sight at that moment and wasn't in the ring with everybody else, where I was afraid I would have been mobbed had I gone down there.
So, interesting, because according to my sister's statement, you never spoke to her about her contract, and that was because, and he turns to the audience, my sister was on a month-to-month contract with them as a on-screen manager, but also month-to-month as hair and makeup for them.
Exactly, and if I felt like I needed to de-escalate with her, I would have done so, but at that moment I decided to speak to Mr. Griswold because I thought he was the immediate threat.
But you just said you addressed my sister at the same time.
I saw them both with the weapons. I made a choice to address Mr. Griswold because I thought that he is more likely to act upon what he had in his hand, whereas she perhaps was more using it as an offensive measure, as she stated.
Well, as we also just heard from Mr. Griswold, he had that weapon there as a defense tool. Now, I'm not going to say what you believed with his intentions was completely different. We're not going to disregard that. You thought he would be more aggressive with the bat. But I do kind of want to point out it's interesting that we're sitting here talking about wrestlers, and apparently a sharp object is less of a threat than a blunt instrument.
True. One was in the hand of a tailor who uses the scissors professionally. I'm not aware of any situation where Mr. Griswold would have needed that based on how his role on the show was done. He was not going to be involved in the run-in situation in the main event, so there was no need for him to have that weapon. So by bringing it onto the scene, he was only ever going to escalate the situation, not de-escalate the situation. And I wanted to make sure that he did not become involved in the near riotous scene happening on my television show at that time.
So you do fully believe he was going to attack another associate of yours with that baseball bat?
He has stated on this stand as such the other day that he was going to do so if Bane was, and I quote, not receptive to what he had to say. That to me sounds like a preemptive assault planned.
Yet, we just heard Mr. Griswold openly state he had the weapon with him due to the fact of Bane's incredible intimidating size, that Mr. Griswold was also scared for his own safety as well. That's why I'm saying your claim of your viewpoint of you thought he was going to escalate and make this worse, we're not invalidating that. You do have that belief. But we did hear from Mr. Griswold that he had it there for a self-defense weapon.
We've heard from him on two separate occasions on which he has given two very different accounts. The first one, he said that he was using it in case the talk with Bane didn't go well, I quote. And this time, then suddenly, 2 days later, after he's had a chance to talk to you, his defense attorney, his story's changed to be one of defense. Funny that.
Well, it's also called asking the right questions as well. Because sometimes
after a story,
lawyer will ask an incorrect question, and will get a very inappropriate or completely different response until it is worded in the correct way to get full understanding of the situation at hand. Now,
Your lawyer asked the blunt question. I asked Mr. Griswold, did you have this with you due to a self-defense aspect? Now, I will let you know, Mr. Mann, I did not meet my clients until this morning at 8 a.m. I've not had a chance to actually speak with the two because I was here and witnessed.
But you don't believe that asking that
the
question,
other lawyer.
You don't believe that was a leading question that would have led him to say yes in order to make himself seem more defensible?
No, like I said, I did not meet with him a lot about
Maybe
it today.
not, but the
Same with Mr. Jameson.
nature of the question was a question that would make him sound more sympathetic just by the nature of the question. Of course, he was going to say yes because that makes him sound more sympathetic.
Mr. Mann, are you the lawyer or am I the lawyer?
You're asking me the question.
Are you the lawyer?
Answer.
Yes, but here's my question. I did not ask a question. I made a statement. You decided to go on trying to say Mr. Griswold here made it. Well, if you could please let me speak before you interrupt me one more time, sir, I will ask the judge to possibly trial you for in contempt because you keep interrupting me as I try to speak. I did not ask you a question about his baseball bat. I said you are validating your belief in viewpoint of you thought this. And I asked, is that correct? And you said, yes. That was the end of the question. Now, Mr. Mann, I will ask you very kindly, please let me finish speaking before you interrupt me again. Hi, Kim does know how to act like a lawyer. It's terrifying. All right. Now, Mr. Mann, on to the other situation. Did you have a conversation with, this is more, I can't remember Bain's last name. Bain here about his match with Mr. Sterling.
Antonio, what do we say? Ramirez, I think.
Ramirez, okay. I can remember Ramirez.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Mann, did you have a conversation with Mr. Ramirez before the match tonight? Yes or the match that night? Yes or no?
I did, yes.
Did you have a meeting with Mr. Sterling about that match? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, in those meetings, were they separate or together between the two of them?
Separate.
Okay, so that's interesting. They had two separate matches in regards to the same title. Now, I will like to ask this question due to Mr. Sterling's past history with him. Was Mr. and you see him look at a note, McAllister Bruiser. Holy shit, that guy's still working? What the fuck? Sorry about that, Your Honor. That's a name I was surprised to see. Mr. Bruiser McAllister, was he involved in any of those two meetings with you?
No, he was not. However, he was involved in a meeting about that match earlier in the day.
With who?
With me.
Okay, and what was that conversation about?
He said this was his recommendation for the match, that he believes that Sterling would have a good title match with Bain, and I agreed to put that match on the show.
Okay. Now, how much were you aware of McAllister and Mr. Sterling's back history with each other? How familiar are you with it?
I heard that they didn't like each other very much due to something that happened in the past where Sterling was accused of something and McAllister shit-stirred about it. That's the best.
Okay. So then, this is me asking you an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
By knowing that information, that McAllister had actual issues with Mr. Sterling, would you have, this is more now Kim trying to word this sentence correctly just in general because my mind's going word vomit now. Now having that knowledge and listening to his advice, did it not occur to you in any form of suspicion that this might have been a reason something McAllister done to come after Sterling in a professional standpoint within the booking? Yes or no?
No, because I believe that Mr. Ramirez, known as Bain, is a professional wrestler who would be a professional in the ring, and no matter the size or stature of the individual, they would still be a work to pretend wrestling match, because that is the business that we're in.
So I did not ask you about Mr. Ramirez. I asked you about McAllister.
Mm-hmm.
So you just avoided my entire question about not suspecting the fact that McAllister might have had another reason to institute a match like this.
No suspicion though.
So, Mr. Mann, if you don't mind me asking, how much of wrestling knowledge do you have? Like, before you came into this company, how much knowledge?
Little to none.
Okay. So you decided to trust Mr. McAllister in assisting with the bookings.
Yes, because he has been in the wrestling business
Fully,
for 30 years. I believed that he knew what he was talking about.
Especially with the being of awareness, he played favoritism towards a couple of your wrestlers and did have an open vendetta. Well, not a vendetta, a open issue with another one, and you still trusted him with the booking decisions, even though it might have not favored those wrestlers or highly favored.
I believe
those wrestlers.
If that had been the case, I would have booked Sterling to lose the match. I did not, and I believed that Bane would have been, as I said, would have been a professional. I didn't believe that any sort of hit was going to take place. No.
Okay. Now, one last question for you, and this is, of course, in regards. Continuing, actually, probably not last question. All right. So going on from there, this is me asking you for your personal opinion once again. If you saw a friend of yours getting jumped and attacked, would you step in to help, or would you wait till the end?
I would jump into it to help them, of course.
Even if you had someone saying, "Hey, if you do this, you're going to get in trouble," would you still do it?
Yes. However,
I asked for a yes or no question, but I will let you continue.
It depends on who the person was.
Okay. So, apparently, there is a value in your definition of saving another man, your fellow man. While
if the
Mr. Jameson
before me was an officer of the law, I would respect that and not jump in.
So, Mr. Jameson here, a young man who was raised in the heart of Jacksonville, Florida, raised by not only my sister, but also me, very much aware of social situations and all that, and also has witnessed firsthand a lot of problems. This he's seen things. But here's what's interesting. You said you would do it regardless, even unless there's an officer of the law. Mr. Jameson said the same thing. He does not regret his actions of violating his own contract in order to ensure the safety of his fellow associate. Now, here's my question for you, Mr. Mann. If Jack did not step in to help him, and the fact Sterling himself believes this could have truly ended him, what would you have done if Mr. Sterling actually was worse off than he was now? Would you put that blame onto your wrestler, or just mark it up to a casualty within wrestling?
I would definitely question Mr. Ramirez as to whether he went too far. However, it is clear from Mr. Sterling's condition after the match that he should not have been in the ring in the first place, and I should have had him have a full physical before he stepped into that ring. Clearly, he was not fit to wrestle if he ended up in that state after such minor offense.
So then, in that case scenario, Mr. Jameson was in the right to step in to stop this attack, even though he did no physical damage to Mr. Ramirez. And even his fiancée, Miss Mix Gross, I can't wait till that's Jameson. And yes, Santos does say that in court. Mix Gross just stood there and just staring off with Bane to prevent any further. So, are you to an extent thankful that Mr. Jameson violated the policy, violated your rules in order to prevent further damage that could have been life-ending to Mr. Sterling? Yes or no?
No.
So you would have preferred Mr. Jameson to not get involved, to possibly let Mr. Sterling get into a much worse and severe condition whatsoever? Yes or no?
I believe that he would.
I asked yes or no. I didn't ask if you believe. I asked yes or no.
Yes.
So, you would have preferred Jack not to get involved, to not help stop this fight, to Mr. Sterling to get worse, and to let Sterling possibly die on the ring. You know what, Mr. Mann? I have no further questions for you. Please leave the stadium. Not stadium. Please leave the podium.
The judge is going to turn to the other attorney and say, "Do you want to cross-examine?" To which he will say, "Yes." This is what I was trying to avoid, talking to himself, but here we go. Right.
I had to do it too. You can shut up. I just did it.
Yeah, I know.
Because here's the thing: we haven't got to the evidence yet. It's called. We're doing cross-examination first.
Yeah.
And then the evidence is getting called into question.
So his attorney, Mr. Reed, steps up. Mr. Mann, you just stated that, or you were led with a leading question as to that you thought that it was preferable that Sterling died in the ring that night. Is that what you meant? No, it is not what I meant. What I meant to say was, I believe if the show had gone as practiced, Sterling would not have ended up in any worse condition. I believe the match would have gone on as planned. And if Sterling is in the condition that he is in, I don't believe he was medically fit to wrestle. I believe he lied about his physical condition. I believe that he lied on his contract about his physical condition, that he was fit to get into that ring that night. None of the wrestlers of any right fit physical state would have ended up in that condition from those minor punches. I have spoken to Mr. Ramirez, and he says that he did not lay in those punches any more than any others. They just looked very real because that is him being a professional wrestler trying to make it look real. And all the other wrestlers...
Objection!
On what grounds? The judge will ask.
All wrestlers are required before matches to actually submit a medical evaluation, even if there's a suspicion. If what Mr. Mann is saying is true, I would like to request to summon Mr. Sterling's medical records and see if he really was unfit to be in the ring that night.
I have no objection to that. We could do that. That'll be the other attorney saying that. I have no objection. We could do that and to see how recent they were. So, Mr. Mann,
that's a Tom's situation for those.
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Mann, you believe that everything went as planned that night? It did, until wrestlers took it upon themselves to run into the ring when it wasn't the time, and interfere in the segment, and make everything go not as planned, go crazy, and it became an almost riotous situation in my mind. I see. What was the plan in your mind then, Mr. Mann? The plan was that Sterling would get a horrific beating, the crowd would be sympathetic for him, it looked like he was getting beaten really badly. In fact, that was all part of the show. What everybody saw was part of the show, and I can't believe that these so-called professionals were worked by the show to such an extent. It was clearly all as it was supposed to be. At that point, Jack, and Lexi were supposed to come down and make the save as a run-in to end the match, but it was supposed to be about 5 or 6 minutes later, and it would have been a much more theatrical run-in, the usual sort of running into the ring, throwing up your hands, bouncing off the ropes, that kind of thing. It was supposed to be much more a professional wrestling run-in, rather than half the locker room doing it, and a man standing behind backstage with a baseball bat. I see.
Me was about to make a question. I'm like, wait, I'm not the lawyer right now.
So, if that was going to be the case, you saw that Sterling was getting very, really hurt, correct? No, I did not. As far as I'm concerned, he was just selling. But you see his condition right now. I do see his condition right now. I believe that his condition right now is either the result of him being extremely feeble before he even stepped into that ring, and it is not in that point. That part is not my job to protect a man from working way past his prime. We should have had a medical. That is, I agree on the company that we should have done a medical on every wrestler that day. We did not do it on that day in question. Obviously, So either he was unfit to wrestle, or Oliver Sterling is exaggerating his injuries. That's my conclusion. I see. 2 days ago, Tobias Richardson said he knowingly violated his contract by ignoring you and going to the ring because he felt like Oliver Sterling was in danger. In your mind, was he in any real danger? Michael Mann will look and say, no, he was never in any real danger. The RCW wrestlers obviously are... They've got a history, let's just say, before I came along, of working themselves into a shoot where they believe that the wrestling storyline becomes reality. And I believe this was another one of those cases where they were not able to see the blurring of the lines and understand it was all part of the show.
Objection. Like I said, Corey, this is terrible that I'm playing the lawyer because I actually know the policy.
Objection on what grounds?
This is a discussion of hearsay of Mr. Mann assuming my client could not cannot separate the lines between reality and wrestling. This is a hearsay conversation that he's saying Mr. Jameson could not separate the blurred lines.
Mr. Mann, I believe, is simply conveying what he believes to be the case from his point of view, which is what is the point of a witness testimony.
I'm just saying, Your Honor, it just sounded like he was saying that was the reason. I misheard if he said this was his viewpoint.
Mr. Mann will say, it is absolutely my viewpoint that the wrestlers blurred the line between reality and fantasy, and they did not realise it was part of the show. And I also believe Oliver Sterling is either too old to wrestle or is absolutely faking his condition right now. No further questions. You may step down.
Prosecution would like to ask for Lord Oliver Sterling to come to the stand. Mr. Edwards, you may assist him with coming to the stand.
Sterling makes his way up to the stand using his cane. He's sort of gotten used to the lighting in the room a little bit now, but he's still finding it difficult. He's still got multiple concussions, so he takes his place and waits.
All right. I would like to ask the court to allow Mr. Sterling to continue wearing these glasses. He does have some sensitivity to the light. I understand you would prefer him to be able to see him fully, but I am asking for this simple accommodation of allowing him to keep the glasses on.
Understood.
All right. Mr. Sterling, first and foremost, how are you feeling today?
You have good days and you have bad days. The light sensitivity it's not fun.
I assume it's not. All right, Lord Sterling, I promise I will try to keep this as short as possible. Give you a break. Mr. Sterling, I'm not going to ask you to recount. All right, Mr. Sterling, can you please tell us? Oh, that's not safe. Santos pulls up his Sterling's medical records from before the match starts. Mr. Sterling, can you please tell us what was said about your medical records? And this is mainly because Tim does not know his medical records.
Prior to every match, I have an MRI. That's a personal thing because I wanted to have a good retirement when the time came. So I had my brain scanned to ensure that I am physically capable, and it is a thing that is requested by the company. They ask that they've specifically asked that I am checked prior to my matches. I was scanned and had a clean bill of health to compete in the match that night, and so I went to the ring.
All right.
I've been a professional wrestler longer than some of the jury have been alive.
Objection. Mr. Sterling did not have a medical scan on the day in question. His last scan was from 2 weeks prior.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I'm looking at it right here, and it says it the night. Kim's saying the night because Kim doesn't know dates. It's this MRI scan actually says it's from that day. And then hold on, let me pull up. And then he pulls up another brain scan from after the attack, and because I actually know how an MRI scan can work, there is a vast difference between the MRI scans between these. So you're saying Mr. Sterling didn't have a medical evaluation, but I do have one here saying it. But then I also do have one that he did after said attack showing the clear difference between these two issues. It is very clear Mr. Sterling suffered an intense concussion through this. Now, we all know here, we do know sometimes the elderly is a little bit more sensitive. They can't take a lot of damages and stuff. But Mr. Sterling does a medical evaluation before every single match. And I do know, because I have heard Ms. Vasquez talk to him about this through a phone call, because I happened to have been on the phone with my sister at the time. They do talk, the two of them have talked about, hold on one second. My dad just came outside. I'm currently standing outside. Give me 1 second. All right. But Mr. Sterling knows, and because he told my sister this, that if there is ever a problem, he won't wrestle. Now, I'm a little curious though. Well, apparently the prosecution is saying we didn't require any scans or anything, but Mr. Sterling here is saying, well, I do one anyways. I think it's a little interesting already right off the bat that the prosecution is saying one thing, and also we have proof that against what they're saying. Mr. Sterling, I thank you for this. You can get off the podium for now. Like I said, I won't keep you on here long.
The judge will. Mr. Reed, do you wish to cross-examine? Mr. Reed will say, yes, I do. Thank you. Mr. Sterling, you contend that those records were taken from March 13th. That you did in fact have a physical exam before you wrestled on March 13th.
I've won before every show. I always have done.
So this was your own personal one, not one done by the company.
The update.
I see a doctor before I go to work. If I'm not fit, I don't go to work. You're saying
that the promotion that you work for did not provide this. You did this on your own accord with your own doctor.
Yes, I've always had the same doctor do my scans because I'm a
Isn't it not true
older
though,
man with
2 weeks ago before that when you signed with the new version of RCW under CTV, you had a medical examination then provided by them. So why did you feel the need to have a second one done on the day in question?
As I told you, I have a scan before every match because I am fully aware, well, I was fully aware at the time that I only had limited matches. I wanted to make sure every match that I competed in that I was physically capable of. I would not want to enter into a match if I was not fit.
I see. And I would hope you would stand by your doctor and that he wouldn't falsify any records at all.
My doctor.
Objection.
My
On what grounds?
Why are we bringing accusations of falsified records?
Sustained. Let's not bring the doctors. I am simply, Your Honour, I'm trying to ascertain, is it possible that Mr. Sterling went and paid a doctor off to get these records so it makes it look as though he was injured during the fight instead of beforehand?
I will say, Jack, at that point, he tries to stand up because that statement makes him pissed, but instantly the freak is like slamming him down in his seat. It's like, no, calm down. Calm down.
Is it not possible, Mr. Sterling, that these concussions are a result of multiple head traumas over a long career, and you simply have provided us with a much older brain scan and passing it off as being from March 13th?
prior to joining RCW, I had not wrestled actively for many years.
Mm.
I
Why
was due to the incident involving the wrestler known as Apollo 4.
I see.
That got worldwide press.
Mm.
The story behind it I did explain 2 days ago.
You did. So you're saying that because of that, it's not possible that you had previous concussions from the matches you competed in RCW, which included...
I have never had a concussion prior to this one.
Even in your other matches in RCW, which involved chair shots to the head and cage matches?
I've always played it safe, and I'm checked, and I see my doctor after every match, before and after every match.
Could you explain then why your medical record from February 28th, where you signed on with CTV RCW, shows considerably more brain damage than the one you're showing here from March 13th?
Hold on, this is me getting a clarification to make sure I heard right. Did the lawyer just compare the one after one to the previous one?
He's saying that there was one that he's not presented, but he's saying that there is one from 2 weeks prior that apparently has much more brain damage than the one that has been presented as evidence.
Okay, I just wanted to get that clarification because I knew I misheard it. I just wanted to get a clarification about that.
Today would be the first time I've heard about that apparent medical record. That has never been presented to me. That was not presented to me at the time. So if it does exist, I invite you to submit it to the court.
Very well. Mr. Sterling, when you stepped into that ring, what was your understanding of what was going to happen in that match? Not talking about the result, talking about what was explained to you as to what was Bane going to do to you in that match.
All I knew was that Bane was going to do what Bane does in the ring. Bane is a very large wrestler who throws his opponents around. Now, I wasn't of the opinion he was strong enough to lift me, because I am a 350-pound man who is difficult to move around.
So what was explained to you he was going to do during that match?
I knew he was going to lay it in somewhat, but there is a difference. There is a distinct difference between laying it in a show way and live rounds. After my years in the business, I know what live rounds are like. Those were live rounds. And I have been told, and I know that's not of any value. I've been told he said something to me, but I can't fully remember the...
So it's irrelevant.
Objection.
On what grounds?
We actually have video footage of Bane saying something to Mr. Sterling. A couple of fans provided it to my client, Mr. Jameson, in hopes of helping the defense and proving what has happened. I would like to present to you the videos from 3 different angles.
Go ahead. Let's get a video screen here. We'll adjourn for now. The judge will adjourn for lunch, then we'll come back from lunch and screens have been set up with this footage.
So shall I put the clip from the last episode?
No, yeah, the footage plays. Insert footage from Tom, but I'll just explain just for people in the room. Bane is heard saying, "I'm sorry. I've had my orders."
Before he delivered the last punch.
Yeah.
Before he delivered the last punch, which is the last punch that Sterling remembers.
Yes.
So am I talking at Santos now?
Yeah.
Or is it still prosecution?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you presenting this. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Hank. I got to stand up. I know you want to cuddle in my lap. Downfall being outside, the dogs want to cuddle with you. Santos looks at them like, they just locked you out of here. I'm laughing. Yeah, you just forgot him. Go on, Hank. As we can tell from the video evidence, Mr. Ramos did speak to Sir Lord Oliver Sterling right before the moment that he does not remember, saying, "I am sorry, I have my orders." Now, this is, of course, hearsay. We don't know if this means an official attack was done, but it does show Mr. Ramos. Fuck, I'm forgetting Bane's last name now.
Ramirez.
Bane.
5 people spoke at once. I did not hear shit.
Ramirez,
thank you. I just need to remember as Ramirez as the Night Stalker. That's going to be the one way I'm going to remember. I don't want to do that, but I will. That Mr. Ramirez was told to apparently throw actual punches at Lord Oliver Sterling. And as you can tell, jury, your Honor, everyone else, Bane did say those words before he threw the actual, metaphorical, the punch. Now, with this evidence here, I would like to ask Mr. Ramirez to come to the stand.
Bane. Antonio Ramirez walks down, sits on the stand. This time hoping he's actually going to be asked questions.
Santos goes up, and he does do this a little bit in Spanish because it's one of those he recognizes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish, he does thank Bane for coming up and speaking to the court today,
mm-hmm.
and all.
And
that's
he'll
more
respond in Spanish, thanking him. Gracias.
De nada.
Yeah.
Mr. Ramirez, who did you speak to in regards to this match?
The owner and Mr. McAllister.
Okay. Well, and you had these two separate or together?
Separate.
Okay. Can you tell me briefly, or as much detail as you want, the conversation with Mr. Mann first? What did he tell you to do?
He said, make it look good, beat the old man up, but let him win.
Okay. What about McAllister? How did that conversation go? And I would like to remind you, Mr. Bain, you are under oath. Any lies will be considered an obstruction to justice, and you can't be charged for that.
How I'm going to have to use bad word, that's okay?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
I believe he said, fuck that old bastard up. Make it so that he cannot walk out of the ring.
And at that point, everyone sees Santos grinning, claps his hand. So Mr. McAllister asked you as personally to take out Lord Oliver Sterling. Yes or no?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor, because at this point we have proven the actions to Sir Lord. I love how I keep saying Sir Lord. To Lord Oliver Sterling was requested by a member of management without proper communication whatsoever, thus justifying the actions of Mr. Jameson in particular, because Santos looks like raw freak. It's like this case scenario. This is something I can't help justify about. Like he's giving you a very like I feel bad for doing this look, but to justify the actions of Mr. Jameson, because Mr. Ramirez here was told by a man who had actual issues with Sir Oliver Sterling to take him out and making sure he could never come out of that ring. When Mr. Mann asked for the ring to be protected, I have no further questions, Your Honor, because at this point, we have proved Sir Oliver Sterling had a hit put out on him, and Mr. Jameson's interference saved this man's life. No further questions, Your Honor.
The prosecution will not cross-examine, and at that point, the judge will adjourn while he considers the ruling.
Hi guys, isn't it fun to have somebody who knows how to do law shit? Like I said, when you guys are like PJ, I'm like, I was trying to be a fucking social worker. Mm-hmm. I know the law just as good through a different standpoint, but I can hold my fucking self in court.
Yeah. So eventually, the judge will return as everybody takes their seats again. Okay, so it's taking me some time to consider. There's various factors here. Obviously, Mr. Griswold has been absolved of any criminal actions in terms of the assault, so that is not what is on trial here. However, enough has been presented in terms of what came from his own mouth and what has been presented here that he definitely should have been terminated for his actions that night. Mr. Griswold was rightfully terminated from RCW. However, it is clear that some sort of conspiracy to injure a worker did take place. Oliver Sterling was right in assuming that something was going to happen, and as a result he took actions to protect himself. Mr. Jameson at no point assaulted anybody, nor did he put hands on anybody directly, including Mr. Mann. Therefore, I am going to rule that Tobias Jameson was wrongfully terminated, and that he be awarded the sum of $10,000 from CTV as repercussion. I would also recommend that some criminal charges may be brought up against this McAllister fellow for what happened that night to Oliver Sterling, if Oliver Sterling wishes to press charges. With that, this court is adjourned. The case is settled. Everybody will go their separate ways. It's up to you guys if you want to do anything sort of post-trial in character before we wrap up the session.
So Jack's gonna turn to Freak, and like there is a look on Jack's face of he feels terrible that he couldn't get justice for Freak whatsoever.
No, I would disagree. I do think this is justice.
Oh yeah, no.
I knew I was throwing things away when I took a shot at Man.
I mean, why do you think I asked you to be my world heavyweight champion?
Thank you
buddy,
for that.
I'm gonna get you back here. You deserve to be here. And I'm also going to talk to Man and be like, we're not dropping our belts. You've been nothing but a good world heavyweight champion for VPW. I ain't going to let you lose that belt easily. Jack's going to get up and he's going to go over to Man now.
Okay.
He's going to stand there with a slight little smirk because, of course, Jack won this case.
Mm-hmm.
So stand there and smiles like, I think we should have a conversation, don't you?
His sort of security, I guess, would be around him, but he just misses them. Make it quick.
Rehire both me and Freak.
No.
And here's also hold on, let me finish before you say no, because clearly I proved your co-conspirator was a problem.
Well, he's
Rehire
not part of the organization anymore because he gave his.
I don't give a damn. You agreed to work with him. There was a reason why I threw a punch. I never trusted that man to begin with.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, clearly. Because you literally admitted you didn't know shit about wrestling when you came in. Yep. Now I'm going to speak now. We want our jobs back. I'm also willing with you to have a partnership, not a buyout or merger, but a partnership with VPW Wrestling. Because guess what? You're going to want to hear this. WEW is wanting to send their men to my promotion. And if you want to prove you're better than them, by hiring both me and Freak, he's the world heavyweight champion. I'm the hardcore champion. It looks better on you to be able to secure their top talents. Now, it also means we keep our belts, but I will come to the agreement. We will not compete on your promotion with our belts. But it would also be vice versa. We would allow CWF, correct?
Yeah, CWF, yeah.
Okay. But that also means any wrestlers on CWF do not come onto my promotion with the belt. It would be a mutual respect. We can wrestle on each other's show, and our belts stay within our respected promotions. But like I said, WEW is coming around talking to me, wanting to send some of their men my way to fight, and want some of our talent to come to them. I would really recommend you reinstate us of our jobs, give a Freak an actual valued contract instead of the shenanigans you pulled the first time you came in. And that way you have not only a respected world heavyweight, you get me again, and you know Will Rel, because you've seen how well I've been running around since you fired me, how popular and prominent I've become in the indie scene. You know just as well as I, that's going to help you with your numbers and boost your ratings. Don't you agree?
The only thing I want less than the man who tried to assault me, who I will never rehire, is your swamp white trash ass and anything to do with your promotion. Not only am I not going to rehire you, I'm going to give anybody who wants it from that old RCW indie fed their release.
You have Lexi comes up, looks at Man in the face, and just spits on him and walks away. That's Lexi's response to it, is like, I'll fucking quit in a heartbeat if you're going to... Actually, no, better yet, Lexi's going to come up. Not going to spit. It's like, I think you should really shut your mouth right now. Because you just got proven your ass handed to you because you blind trusted a man who decided to come after other of your wrestlers. You can sit there and go, we are white trash. I do not like you calling my future husband to be white trash.
Yeah,
but God damn it, this man proven within the indies that he is better than you.
You know what you'll
he has created a promotion.
You know what you'll like even less? When I get ICE to deport your ass. Goodbye.
Oh, guess what? Not happening. It's called marriage, you dumb fuck.
Goodbye.
Now, would you like me to punch you like I punched the Nazi politician back in Germany? Or would you rather be a little less of a chivalry asshole and realize you fucked up hard? Once the results of this court
Good
session
luck
comes
with your
out,
swamp.
you know your promotion will be ruined.
Good luck with your swamp crocodile wrestling. Bye.
Jack's going to look at anybody there and very loudly goes, hey, man's firing all of us. If you want to come to VPW, come right ahead. WEW is interested in us. Because a man who does not know anything about wrestling thinks he should continue.
Anybody who wants their release, who
expecting.
used to work for RCW, can have their release. You're all.
Hey, Bane, I'll give you a promotion too.
You're all trash.
Want to come over to BPW, Bane? Because man doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He thinks I'm white trash just because I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. And guess what, man? I'm richer than you, you little punk ass bitch. So guess what? You got the offer on your stand. And here's what's funny. Once WEW comes knocking at my door, your door is closed. So let me run you into the ground with the help of WEW or not. I don't give a goddamn fuck. But I'll employ every single member here in RCW. Anybody who wants to leave your goddamn ass. You can go fuck yourself to the highest level, Mr. Man. Punk ass bitch. And you threaten to deport my fiance again, I will sue your ass to the highest level because you can't deport somebody who's already legally married and all the proof is in the cookies. Actually, I don't remember how that phrase goes. But there's a lot of online proof that these two are actually in love.
As the two parties separate, man just kind of shrugs it off and walks off. And as true to his word, anybody gets an email next. Anybody who's still with RCW, with his CWF, who doesn't want to be anymore, who used to be part of RCW, can get their release. And as the day is wrapping up and all the dust is settling from this, Tobias, Freak, and all of you, Sterling especially, everybody, you get an email or a text, let's say both, a text or email, from a certain Mr. Dutton.
Oh, yeah, boy!
And the subject reads, CWF dropped their trademark on RCW. Let's talk.
So I want to can right now before we end, I want to establish, can Jack get to the agreement with RCW and VWF to allow talents to appear on Ultimate, like essentially what he gave Man? Talents are allowed on both shows, but we keep the belts respectively within their own promotion. I think that's
something we could talk about. But for now, that's all you get. For now, that's all you get is the old booker is saying that they've let the copyright lapse on RCW, so it is free to return under the old ownership. And with that, we will see you next time.